So no more talking, no more issuing condemnations of Israel's genocide and their ethnic cleansing, no more resolutions. We're actually going to do something. We're actually going to block their ships. We're actually going to stop their ships from docking at ports. We're going to block supplies going to Israel. That's what actually is going to happen now. That's actually happening now. Exclusive: Spain and Ireland to join more than 20 states to declare concrete measures against Israel. Turkey, Portugal, China, Qatar are among countries that will be attending the Hague Group's emergency summit in Colombia next week. This is real. More than 20 countries are convening in Bogotá next week to declare concrete measures against Israel's violations of international law. Diplomats told Middle East Eye. That's really happening. And if you'd like to hear my jokes about it, I'll be doing them this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in Toronto, Red Bank, New Jersey, Northampton, Massachusetts, and Concord, New Hampshire. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. The emergency summit is due to be held on 15th and 16th of July. So that's starting tomorrow, right? Mm-hmm. Co-hosted by the governments of Colombia and South Africa and co-chairs of the Hague Group, to coordinate diplomatic and legal action to counter what they describe as a climate of impunity enabled by Israel and its powerful allies. So 20 countries have said, we've had enough. And here it is, Progressive International. The Hague Group of 9 nations announced their commitment to bring Netanyahu to justice, stop arms to Israel, and no harbor for genocide. Let's listen.
We then declare our intention to uphold the UN resolution A/Res/ES10/24 in the case of state parties to the International Criminal Court, to support and comply with our obligations under the Rome Statute with regards to the warrants issued on 21st of November 2024, and to implement the provisional measures of the International Court of Justice issued on 26th of January, also on the 28th of March, and also on the 24th of May 2024. We declare our intention to prevent provision or transfer of arms, munitions, and related equipment to Israel in all cases where there is a clear risk that such arms and related items might be used to commit or facilitate violations of humanitarian law, international human rights law, or the prohibition on genocide, in compliance with our international obligations and consistent with the International Court of Justice Advisory Opinion of 19 July 2024 and the UN General Assembly Resolution A/Res/ES10/24. We declare our intention to prevent the docking of vessels at any port, if applicable, within our territorial jurisdiction, in all cases where there is a clear risk of the vessel being used to carry military fuel and weaponry to Israel.
So they're talking about actually stopping the shipment of arms or aid to Israel. Those 20 countries are actually talking about stopping the docking at a port if they think it's going to go to aid the arms shipments to Israel. That's a big deal.
Which might be used to commit or facilitate violations of humanitarian law, of international human rights law, and of the prohibition of genocide in Palestine, in keeping with the state's peremptory legal obligation to cooperate towards preventing genocide and other violations.
So what he's saying is like, hey, we're actually the ones upholding international law, not the United States, not Israel. We're the ones who are actually going to do this now, because nobody pays attention to the ICJ or the ICC. Nobody pays attention to the UN resolutions. Nobody does anything. Those are just words. Well, we're actually going to do something. We're actually going to block ports. We're actually going to stop ships from docking that are going to take any kind of aid to Israel that they can use to do their genocide. That's what he's saying, that they're actually going to do now. Countries are actually joining together now because they see that the United Nations isn't going to do anything. The United States isn't going to do anything. The European Union isn't going to do anything. So now these 20 countries are coming together to do something.
Empty norms by all legal measures at their disposal.
The Hague Group is a bloc of currently 8 states launched on 31st of January in Dutch city that has stated a goal of holding Israel accountable under international law. The Hague Group's formation in January marked a turning point in the global response to exceptionalism and the broader erosion of international law. The same spirit will animate this Bogotá conference, where the assembled states will send a clear message. No nation is above the law, and no crimes will go unanswered. Together, we will work to introduce concrete legal, diplomatic, and economic measures that can urgently halt Israel's destruction of the Palestinians. So legal, diplomatic, and economic measures. So they're, and I like they use the word concrete. Israel's war on Gaza, increasingly condemned by experts and governments as a genocide, has killed more than 57,000 Palestinians. I don't even know how they come up with that number, because I bet it's more closer to 400,000. Because most of those people,
I've always thought that.
Most of those people are underneath that rubble, and nobody's going. So it's way more than 57,000 people. I can guarantee you that.
Just like Lahain is more than 150 people.
The onslaught has left the Palestinian enclave barely habitable and left 2 million people starving. The Palestinian genocide threatens our entire multilateral system. Colombia cannot be indifferent in the face of apartheid and ethnic cleansing. In Bogotá, the assembled states will not only reaffirm our commitment to resist the genocide, but devise a series of specific measures to move from words to collective action. So no more talking, no more issuing condemnations of Israel's genocide and their ethnic cleansing, no more resolutions. We're actually going to do something. We're actually going to block their ships. We're actually going to stop their ships from docking at ports. We're going to block supplies going to Israel. That's what actually is going to happen now. That's actually happening now.
Well, did you know Argentina, I don't see up there, because Malay is providing safe haven to IDF war criminals
that's right.
film themselves on TikTok doing crimes. Yeah. They're fleeing to Argentina.
The founding members of the group included Bolivia, Colombia, Cuba, Honduras, Malaysia, Namibia, and Senegal and South Africa. Here's all the delegations. Republic of Colombia, South Africa, Algeria, Bolivia, Botswana, Brazil, the Federative Republic of Brazil, Chile, China, Cuba, Djibouti, Honduras, Indonesia, Iraq, Ireland, Lebanon, the state of Libya, Malaysia, Mexican states, Republic of Namibia, Nicaragua, Norway, Oman, Pakistan, Portugal, Portuguese Republic, the state of Qatar, Republic of Slovenia, the Kingdom of Spain, Turkey, what else? Uruguay, and the Venezuela. So members of the Hague Group have already taken major steps over the past 20 months to defend and enforce international law. South Africa, for example, brought a landmark case against Israel at the International Court of Justice for alleged violations of Genocide Convention in Gaza. Several states in the coalition later joined South Africa's case at the ICJ. Additionally, Namibia and Malaysia blocked ships carrying arms to Israel from docking at their ports, while Colombia has cut diplomatic ties with Israel. Since these efforts have been taken independently, the Hague Group aims to coordinate actions amongst its member states and supporters for a stronger impact. According to the group's coordinator, the group has been formed in part as a reaction to the non-compliance of states with binding international legal obligations. This is a reference to the pushback by a number of Western states against the International Criminal Court's arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his former defense minister Yoav Gallant in November of 2024, and Israel's failure to comply with multiple orders by the ICJ to ensure that Genocide Convention is not violated in Gaza. Zuck Feinism says this is really needed more than anything. If the Western governments are together in trampling the international law, the rest of the world should get together to uphold it and make them toe the line. And so that's what's happening. The rest of the world is starting to stand up. China is starting to stand up. And Israel is going to become a pariah state. I keep saying going to become. They are. And again, they've lost everyone.
Jews, the young ones, not the old ones, the young ones that you needed, that they sent them that birthright trip to indoctrinate. It's failing on them.
Okay, so there you go. The world has now turned on Israel, except, the United States and the European Union. But Ireland is in there. Norway's in there.
Well, the actual people, just like those Arab countries that where their population will overthrow them if they don't like placate them, that, yeah, no, we're going to make sure the Palestinians aren't all murdered. The leaders. So when you hear these scumbag Israelis go, well, how come the Arabs don't take them? They don't like them. No, that's the leaders of those countries that don't like. The people are real mad about it, actually.
Hey, come see us on tour. We're going to be in Toronto, Red Bank, New Jersey, Northampton, Massachusetts, Concord, New Hampshire, Oxnard, California, Rutherford, New Jersey, New York, Edmonton, Calgary, and Vancouver. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.